There is a gray stone sitting on the kitchen table in front of me right now. It is about the size of a loaf of Katie's bread. It weighs right around 5 pounds, and it has 2 shallow notches worn into the sides where 4 generations of hands have picked it up. This morning that stone sat in the oven of our wood cook stove. Tonight it will ride down to the foot of our bed, and it will still be giving off heat when the roosters start up tomorrow. It warmed my grandfather. It warmed my father. It warms me and Katie now, and the grandchildren argue over whose bed it visits when they stay the night. In all those years, it has not cost this family 1 nickel to run. It has no cord, it asks for no batteries, and it has never once put a bill in our mailbox. Folks see it on the table and figure it must be something complicated. It is a rock. But the way the old people use this rock can take a real bite out of the meanest bill winter sends you. Stay with me to the end, because the reason 1 warm stone can beat a whole furnace at keeping you comfortable comes down to one specific thing your own body does with heat, something no thermostat can measure. Nobody ever explains that part, and it is the whole secret. I'm David Yoder. I'm 63 years old. I'm old order Amish, and my family has worked the same Lancaster County soil for better than 200 years. I was raised by my daddy, that's my grandfather, out in these fields, and Katie and I raised 8 children and 31 grandchildren on the old ways I talk about here. Our son John runs the farm now, so I finally have the time to sit on this porch and tell you how we do things. Now think back to last January for a minute. Somewhere around 2 in the morning, the furnace kicks on, and you can hear it down there in the dark, burning money while the whole house sleeps. Heating is the biggest energy bill in most American homes, and once real cold settles in, plenty of families watch hundreds of dollars a month go up the flue. So folks fight back the way the store tells them to. They buy a plug-in space heater, and the electric bill climbs higher than the oil bill ever was. They buy an electric blanket, and it works for 2 winters. Then one little wire quits, and the whole thing lands in the trash. Every one of those fixes has a cord, a bill, or a breaking point built right into it. Meanwhile, my grandparents slept in this same farmhouse with no furnace at all, frost thick on the inside of the window glass some mornings, and they slept warm every night of their lives because of that gray rock. It is called soapstone. The old people trusted it with their stoves, their griddles, their wash basins, and their beds for 200 years. Before we're done today, you'll know how to find one for a few dollars, how to warm it right, and how to put it to work in a dozen places around your home. And I still owe you the answer I promised, why 1 warm stone can outcomfort a furnace, so hold on to that, because it is worth the wait. Now everything I'm teaching you today sits on its own page in a manual Katie and I put together, because these old methods were never written down anywhere, and somebody ought to. We call it Save $6,000 a Year, the Amish Family Manual. My half covers the heat, the water, the garden, and the barn sense. Katie's half covers the pantry, the kitchen, the cleaning, and the small daily habits that quietly add up over a year. This isn't a book about becoming Amish. It's a book about keeping more of what you earn. Every method is written out plain, step by step, with the materials and the dollar amounts in the order a real house should do them. Right now it is $17, marked down from $47, about the price of 1 plug-in heater that quits in 3 winters. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, back to that stone on my table, because before you can use one, you ought to know what it actually is. That gray block is soapstone, and the name tells you the first thing about it. The raw stone feels a little slick under your thumb, almost soapy, because it carries talc in it, the same soft mineral that goes into baby powder. It is soft enough to mark with a thumbnail, which is why carvers have always loved it. But do not let soft fool you. Soapstone is one of the densest common stones on this earth, heavier than it has any right to be, and it does two jobs better than nearly anything you can buy. It takes in heat slowly, and it lets that heat back out even slower. A cast iron skillet on Katie's cook stove screams hot in 5 minutes and goes stone cold in 20. Soapstone takes heat the way I take to new ideas, slowly, and then it will not turn loose of it. Pound for pound, a block of soapstone holds about twice the heat of a block of iron, and it hands that heat back over 6 or 8 hours instead of 1. That is not just my opinion. The stove makers up in Vermont have wrapped their wood stoves in slabs of it for generations because a soapstone stove keeps a room warm half the night after the fire dies. The stone itself comes mostly out of quarries in Vermont and Virginia, and it shrugs off heat that would crack ordinary rock. It will not burn, it will not rust, and there is nothing inside it to wear out. Now hold on to that word slowly, because the slowness is the whole invention. And know this too, there is one kind of stone out there that behaves the opposite way, one that can genuinely hurt you, and in a few minutes I will teach you to know it on sight. 100 and some years ago, none of this needed explaining. Winter travel meant an open sleigh or a buggy, and nearly every family kept warming stones by the stove. On a cold morning, my Dayati's family would set their stones on the cook stove at breakfast. Before a long ride, each one got wrapped in a folded grain sack. One went under his mother's feet on the buggy floor. One rode under the lap robe for the children, and that heat lasted the whole visit and half the way home. School children in those days walked to the one-room schoolhouse with a warm stone in a coat pocket or a hot-baked potato, which fed them at noon besides. The stone was in the catalogs too. The big mail order books carried soapstone foot warmers with a wire bail handle, soapstone griddles for the stovetop, and flat soapstone slabs for warming beds, and they sold them cheap. And the stone put a dangerous thing out of business. Before it, folks carried little tin foot stoves filled with live coals to keep their toes alive on a winter ride, live coals in a wooden buggy, and coal fumes drifting up under the lap robe. The stone gave the same warmth with no flame, no fumes, and no way to burn the rig down. That is the kind of improvement the old people prized, quiet, safe, and permanent. Our own gray buggy still keeps the custom. From Thanksgiving to Easter, there is a wrapped stone riding under the lap robe, and my grandchildren believe the buggy makes its own heat. In a way, they're right. And keep holding that thought about your body and warmth, because the reason a stone at your feet can warm your whole frame is the promise I made you, and we are getting closer to it. So where did it all go? Nobody banned the warming stone, and nothing was ever wrong with it. What happened is the furnace came, first coal, then oil, then the heat pump, and heating stopped being something a family did and became something a family bought month after month, forever. Then the electric blanket showed up in the stores, new and clever, and it needed replacing every few winters, which the stone never did. And there sits the honest answer to the question in this video's title. A soapstone warmer sells once for a couple of dollars, and then it works for 200 years. There is no repeat business in that. No company takes out advertisements for a rock your great-grandchildren will still be using. The catalogs quietly dropped it, the stores never missed it, and inside of 2 generations, a thing nearly every American family owned became a thing almost no American family has heard of. We Amish don't have secrets, we have memories. My family just never stopped using ours. Now let's get you a stone of your own, and I will give you 4 ways to do it. Easiest first, you can still buy a made soapstone bed warmer today, because a few small companies never quit making them. A good one runs $20 to $40. It comes with a handle or a cover, and it is the last one your family will ever need. $20 to $40 once for something your grandchildren will argue over. The second way is the one almost nobody thinks of. Find a shop in your county that cuts soapstone countertops. When they cut the hole where the kitchen sink goes, that cutout is scrap to them. It is a beautiful slab of quarried soapstone, and shops sell those remnants for a few dollars a pound, and some will hand you one just for asking kindly. One sink cutout will make bedstones for the whole family. Third, farm auctions and flea markets. The old foot warmers turn up all the time, smooth gray blocks with a wire bail handle, usually priced like junk because hardly anybody under 70 knows what they are anymore. Fourth, if money is tight this week, a plain hard brick from the masonry yard does the same job at about half the strength. $1 or $2 a brick, and it must be a solid fired brick, clean and bone dry. Whatever you get, size it like this. For the bed, you want around 5 pounds, about the size of a fat brick. 5 pounds, remember that number, big enough to hold the night, small enough for older hands to carry safely. For a vehicle floorboard or a workshop chair, go heavier, 8 or 10 pounds. But before you warm anything at all, we have arrived at the stone I warned you about. Never use a stone out of a creek, a river, a lake, or wet ground. I want you to hear that twice. If a stone ever lived in water, it never goes near your oven. Stone looks solid, but a lot of stone is full of tiny pores, and a creek stone carries water deep inside it. Put that stone in a hot oven, and the water inside turns to steam. Steam wants about 2,000 times the room the water took up. The stone cannot stretch, so the stone lets go, and it can split with a crack like a rifle shot and throw hot pieces across your kitchen. Any man who has ringed a campfire with wet field stones has heard that sound once, and it teaches respect in a hurry. Quarried soapstone is a different animal. It came out of dry ground. It has been drying ever since, and generations of stoves have proven it. The same rule runs the other direction, too. Never set a hot stone in water or on a cold, wet surface, because sudden change is the one thing stone cannot forgive. Slow up and slow down, always. Treat the stone gently, and it will outlive everybody watching this video. All right, here's how to warm it, and I want you to take your time with this part. There is no rush at all. The oven way first, since everybody has an oven. Set the stone on the middle rack while the oven is still cold. Turn the oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 250, not 400, and the low number matters because we are coaxing heat into the stone, not shocking it. Leave it in for 1 full hour, 1 hour at 250, so go read the paper while it works. When the hour is up, turn the oven off. Put a dry oven mitt on each hand. Lift the stone out with both hands because 5 pounds of warm stone deserves both hands. Set it on a folded dish towel on the counter. Now comes the palm test, and this is the part I want you to remember most. Hold your bare palm about 1 inch above the stone. Count slow, 1, 2, 3. If your palm can stay there for that slow count of 3, the stone is right. If you pull your hand back before 3, it is too hot. Let it stand 10 more minutes on the towel and test it again. Take your time. The stone is not going anywhere, and neither is its heat. If you heat with wood, it is even simpler. Set the stone on top of the wood stove after supper and let it ride there an hour or 2 while the evening burns down. Turn it over once at the halfway mark, the way you would flip a pancake. Then the same palm test every time, no exceptions. Once the stone passes the test, wrap it. Katie sews flannel sleeves for hours with a button on the end, but a folded bath towel or an old flannel pillowcase doubled over works just as well. The rule stays simple. Bare stone never touches skin, and bare stone never touches the sheets. So once more, all together now. Cold oven, 250 degrees, 1 full hour. Palm test to a slow 3, then wrap it double. And one more word, said gently. If your feet do not feel heat the way they used to, or if you are diabetic, wrap the stone in 1 extra layer and have a word with your doctor before you sleep with it. Warm should always feel gentle. Warm should never feel hot. Now for the good part, the first night. About 20 minutes before you head upstairs, slide the wrapped stone under the covers down at the foot where your feet will land. 20 minutes is the number. That is long enough to drive the damp chill out of the sheets and turn the foot of the bed into July. Then you climb into a bed that is already warm, and if you have not felt that since childhood, you are in for something. Once you are settled, nudge the stone to one side with your foot so it lies alongside your feet instead of under them. It will keep the covers warm deep into the night, and most mornings you will reach down and find it still holding a gentle warmth while the bedroom air went cold hours ago. If your stone runs out of warmth too early, do not heat it hotter. Heat it the same and wrap it one layer lighter, or step up to a heavier stone. If it feels too warm at first, add one more layer of towel and it will pace itself till morning. This old farmhouse has no furnace and no electric line coming in from the road, and Katie and I sleep warm clean through a Pennsylvania January. The stone is most of the reason why, and the bed is only the stone's first job. Wrapped in a horse blanket on the buggy floorboard, it warms shins and feet for a whole cold ride, and it will do the exact same thing on the floorboard of your car or truck, with no idling in the driveway and no cold seat misery. Set one under the footrest of your reading chair on a raw evening, and your whole body settles down with a book. Katie keeps a kitchen stone just for baking mornings. She sets it beside the covered bread bowl in a cold kitchen, and the dough rises wonderbar, that means wonderful, by breakfast. She has carried many a casserole across the county, sitting on a warm wrapped stone in the bottom of a basket, and it arrives at a family supper still steaming 2 hours later. Out in the barn, a warm stone set under the hen's water pan on a bitter night keeps that water open for hours longer, and the hens will thank you at first light. In the garden, a warmed stone under an overturned bushel basket will carry a tender plant through a surprise frost. In the house, on the coldest nights of the year, a wrapped warm stone set against that one pipe under the sink that always wants to freeze can spare you a plumber's bill. Wet boots by the back door, stand them over a warm stone at bedtime, and they are dry by morning chores. One rock, a dozen jobs, and every one of them is a job some machine is charging you to do right now. Now let me be fair to the modern fixes, because I promised you honesty, not a sermon. The rubber hot water bottle is a fine old tool, and it warms up quick. But rubber dries out and cracks after a few years. It can leak in the bed, and it goes cool in about 2 hours. The stone takes longer to warm, then holds 3 or 4 times as long, and it cannot leak. The electric blanket feels wonderful, I am told. It also brings a cord to trip on, wires that quit, a plug that keeps drawing money, and a lifespan of a few winters before it lands in the trash. The plug-in space heater warms a room fast, charges you every single minute it runs, and sits at the top of the fireman's warnings every winter. Every one of those was invented to be sold again and again. The stone was only ever invented to work. Fancy breaks, simple lasts. Now, the stone does ask 2 things of you in return. It asks a little patience, though the hour of warming it does all by itself, and it asks you to carry 5 pounds up the stairs. Give it those 2 things, and it gives you back every winter you have left, which brings us to the dollars, and then to the promise I made you at the very start. Put a pencil to it with me. The government's own energy office has printed this for years. Turn the thermostat back 7 to 10 degrees for 8 hours a day, which is one night's sleep, and you save up to 10% on your heating for the whole year. Up to 10% from the nighttime setback alone. On a $1,500 heating winter, that is $150. On a $2,000 winter, that is $200. Every year from now on, for the price of a stone you bought once. And I can tell you why most folks never collect that money. They turn the dial down, the bed feels like a cold pond. They shiver through 3 nights, and they give up and turn it back. The stone is what makes the setback livable. The furnace can let the whole house drift down cold and quiet, because the only 6 square feet that ever truly needed the heat, the bed with people in it, is holding steady under the quilt all by itself. But why does that work? Why can the air around you drop 10 degrees while you feel warmer than you did before? That is the question I planted at the beginning, and the answer is in your own skin. Let me pay you what I owe. Your skin was never built to read a thermostat. Your body pays attention to one thing, and that is heat on the move. When heat is pouring out of your body faster than you can make it, you feel cold, and no number on a dial changes that. When gentle heat is coming into your body, you feel warm, even in a chilly room. That is the whole secret, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A furnace heats air. Air is thin stuff. A whole roomful of warm air holds less heat than a couple of gallons of hot water, and it leaks out every crack and rises straight to the ceiling where nobody is sleeping. So the furnace buys you a soft, expensive kind of warmth, and it has to buy it again every hour all night long. The stone works from the other end. It puts heat straight into the mattress, the covers, and your own 2 feet, right where your body is actually losing it. The old folks were getting touch heat instead of air heat, and touch heat is the kind your body actually believes, and the feet matter more than anywhere else on you. When your feet are cold, the whole body pulls in and clenches up and will not rest, no matter what the room reads. When your feet are warm, the body opens up, the blood moves easy, and sleep comes on its own. The old people put the heat on the sleeper and let the house go cold, and they slept better than most of us do now. That is the real invention, more than the stone itself. Now, one honest word about the word forever, because I know what the title of this video says. No stone makes heat out of nothing, and any man who tells you his gadget does is selling you something. What this stone does is catch heat you already made and already paid for, heat that was headed up the flue or out of a cooling oven, and it carries that heat to your body and spends it slowly right where it counts. And the stone itself truly is forever, or as close as anything I know. The one on my table warmed my daddy. God willing, it will warm my grandchildren's grandchildren. 200 years from now, it will still be 5 pounds of quiet warmth waiting by somebody's stove, and that right there is money that stays in your pocket every winter from now on. There is a whole manual full of those, written out plain, with the materials and the dollar amounts, the heat, the water, the pantry, the garden, and the quiet thrift underneath it all. Katie and I call it Save $6,000 a Year, the Amish Family Manual, and this stone has its own page in it. Right now it is $17, marked down from $47, and the first bill it trims has already paid for it. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is the old warming stone, a few dollars at a countertop shop, warmed slow at 250 degrees, wrapped in flannel and doing a dozen jobs the furnace cannot touch. Tell me in the comments, did your grandparents do it this way too? I'd surely like to hear it. I read every single one. Next week, I want to show you the $2 thing my daddy tacked over every window of this farmhouse each fall, and why the draft that used to pour through the glass simply gave up trying. Before the cold comes back around, you will want to see that one. That's how we've always done it, friends. Live plain, live well, and God bless you now.